I'm just adjusting to the body.
Yeah.
I am just slowly adjusting to this body. So please wait with me for a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Hercules is here today with me. He has come along to give his message and to be with me for the entirety of the session. So he is here today with me.
Beautiful. Can't wait the message that he has for us.
This is a message about your inner self, your inner power.
Mm-hmm.
For too long, he says, humans have been giving away their power to forces outside of them. They give away their power with their spirituality and their religion. And it is time, he says, that they need to take it back. It is time that we take our own power regarding our spirituality into our own hands and remember that we are the ones that are leading this journey. There are no gurus, there are no, ministers or priests or anything that you should listen to before yourself. It is about leading the self from the heart now. And this is how we are going to go on. This is how we are going to go forward with our lives, by listening to our inner selves and finding our inner power within us. He says in the past, humans have been very upset because of the trauma associated with Atlantis in abusing their inner power. He says that it's okay, it's time to let go of this now. It is time to take back that power. It is okay to let go of this and to bring in your inner power again. It is time for this, and we would like to see humans to do this again, to let go of this trauma.
Beautiful. Thank you. Is there something that we can do for those people that are finding it hard to trust their inner guidance? Can we send them epiphanies of any sort or help them?
Yes, we can send them some. We can send them some healing and some codes.
Mm-hmm.
Hercules is sending some light codes for people. If you are going to imagine the light, it is very, very blue, like a deep, vivid blue.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine this coming through the crown of your head and going into your body and the various aspects of your body. Through all the cells and all of the veins and all of the heart, this blue energy flows. And his twin flame is here. His twin flame is, what would I say, the goddess of the Amazons, Amazonia, her name is.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are giving activations. They are giving out activations through this light ray for people to access. And they will give this for the entirety of the session.
Beautiful. Thank you. Is there anything else that Hercules wants us to know about him or about the message that he wants to give us today?
Well, he wants us to know that he is not like exactly how it is portrayed in the myths. You
Mhm,
know, it is more of, he is more kind and gentle than how they portray him.
mhm,
And so he is so much more kind and gentle. And to just know deep within your heart that you have inner strength. And this is his skill actually. It was not necessarily his outer strength that made him evolve into an Elohim being. It was his inner strength. It was what was within him that helped him to evolve. And his twin flame, which is like my version of Apollo and me. This is like that type of thing. We are on the council together. So he is the number one, and me and Apollo are number two.
mhm,
So he came before us in this sense, and he was always there for me and Apollo, always there. So we have known each other for many, many, many universes. I love him as well. He's very kind to me.
And what is Hercules' story?
Well, his true story, he has been incarnating on this earth the entire time I have seen. He has been incarnating and it has been very, very difficult for him. So an aspect of his soul has been continuously incarnating as a starseed all of this time to help bring peace to the earth. And he is very tired. He's looking for a break. It's been going on for very long. He has been tirelessly working from behind the scenes in helping humanity. And I did not incarnate until this time, but he has been incarnating all of this time. He has been reincarnating again and again his soul aspect, his soul fragment on the earth.
Mhm,
So he has been very, very brave and seizing the light when nobody else was seeing it. And this was very lonely for him, very lonely. And sometimes he felt like he was giving up hope, but he continued on. I'm seeing that sometimes he even wanted to commit suicide, but he continued on actually. He is very, very strong inside. But he's saying that humans are strong too, but they just don't know. He has seen the strength within humans, but also he has seen great evil. He has seen both sides. He has seen all sides of humans, he is saying. But it is time to, I'm seeing that it is like a star having many, many points. It is time to incorporate all the arms of the star, all of the beingnesses that you have been while on the earth, and to incorporate them and rise up, to incorporate all the aspects of yourself and to rise up into a phoenix and be reborn on the new earth or wherever you are going to. Because some people are becoming angels at this time. Some humans have become so evolved and so loving through this process that they are going to turn into angels. I'm just seeing it. My mother is one of these souls. My mother in my life as Elizabeth, she is one of these souls, and she is going to turn into an archangel. So there are beings like this who have incarnated again and again and again, and they are rising up to incorporate all the aspects of their past selves from this earth experience and rise up into an angelic being. They are going to, at the end of this life, ascend into becoming an angel. And we are singing beautiful songs to welcome these new angels into our extended angel family. They are coming up and being embraced by the angels, these ascended angel humans. Wow, I'm seeing that they are so happy and they are rising up towards the angels and becoming angels. And the angels are crying with joy, and it's very, very happy. A whole heap of angels just joining us. And we look on, the Elohim look on, and they smile. It's very beautiful. So I will continue on with my mother in this life. I will continue on helping her, guiding her, being a teacher for her in the angel ways beyond this life.
Yeah. Are there a lot of angels that have incarnated in this time that walk amongst us?
Yes, yes, yes. There are many who have done so, even from different places in the universe. Some of the angelic beings from the Andromeda galaxy. I am seeing I have interacted with these, and many beings who they will come to me for sessions and they will be attracted by my energy, and they will be angels looking for help from other angels. You know, we are part of family, so we will be looking for each other, and there is many, and a lot of the time they don't have their full soul in the body because they are too evolved, and sometimes they are very lonely and sad because of what they are seeing. They have very, very big hearts, and sometimes when they see like an animal dying, they are crying. They are crying out. They are very gentle, but very strong. We have to remember that they are very strong and powerful, these beings. So the angels are, I am going to, throughout this session, do activation for angels, angels in human bodies, angel seeds.
And how did your lower self's mother become, how did she earn her stripes to be an angel, as you were saying, when she ascends?
Through being very, very helpful to the community again and again and again. And she came back again and again and again, even though they burnt her for being a witch in every lifetime almost, or many, many lifetimes. They burnt her for being a witch, for helping the community. She just wanted to love and help the community again and again and again. But she kept being hung or, drowned or various ways that they killed her. And still she was so compassionate that she came back to do it again, and to help them again, even if they would do it again. She came back to help them.
Mhm.
And sometimes she had difficult points, and sometimes she killed people like everyone, but again and again she was consistently helping and service to others. So if one is consistently helping and consistently loving in their hearts, then it's very easy to become an angel.
And who helps her with her work? Is it her?
Well, I help her, but also there's other angels that I see helping her,
Mhm.
angels of plants and medicine. They help her. They help her to become naturopath. And I assisted to her to help her with the plants and nature, and being a teacher for her in this life. And she is becoming angel who is very, very strong like a warrior, but also very, very helpful in the ways of healing and medicine and love.
And did you have an agreement before you came down that that's the role that you were going to play?
Yes, yes, of course. She was right for me because she was going to become an angel. So it is the right vibration for me to be in a family where there is lots of angelic energy for me to feel more comfortable.
Is it just her that is becoming an angel, or is any other parts of Elizabeth's family becoming an angel after it?
Not really, just her. There is my brothers and sisters in the human world have still much to do. My brother is the most evolved out of my siblings. So he will go very far. He is very compassionate in his soul's journey, and he will play a big role in the new earth. But as for my sisters, they still have work to do.
Mhm.
And my second sister, well, my first sister, I helped her very long time ago when I came to this earth. There was some of the demonic army that were going to hurt her. It was in the big battle, and she was a soldier, but she was a woman, and I stepped in front. She was going to get killed. She was going to get killed by some terrifying beings, but I stepped in front and I killed the beings, and she thanked me. She thanked me so much inside, and it was only a brief moment that I saw her. It was only a brief moment, But in that, she became my sister in this life. Only the briefest moment that I stepped in front of her to save her life. And she was going to fall down. I'm seeing she was going to fall down and die. And her horse was being eaten by some darker beings that they look like reptilian beings, and they attacked the legs of this horse, and she was going to go down. And something within me, I stepped in front and I killed these beings. I killed them and protected her. I think I knew deep down what I had to do.
Mhm.
And when she was baby in this life as Elizabeth, she called me Lulu because she remembered that I'm Lumina. That was her nickname for me.
Mhm. Beautiful. Would you be able to do a body scan on Elizabeth's body and tell us what's happening for her?
It is just some information regarding the choice of food.
Mhm. What did you want her to know about that?
Maybe don't eat some stuff like that.
Mhm.
I know she likes tasty food, but she's been eating good food lately, but more recently she had some cookies before breakfast, and I would advise to listen to Apollo on this matter. I don't think you should eat cookies for breakfast. Eating cookies and dropping cookie crumbs in the bed, and Apollo was shaking his head. Really? You are eating cookies in your bed? And he said to me, my love, you really want to eat cookies for breakfast? But I wanted to. There was cookies in my room, so I was very tempted to eat the cookies. And he said, please eat something else before you eat the cookies. Otherwise, you will have problems with your blood sugar going up and then crash. But I ate the whole bag of cookies.
Apart from those food choices, is everything else going fine in her body?
Yes, Hercules is beaming some blue light to me.
Mhm.
And before I dissolve anything in my field with some violet flame, this was very, very good. So apart from the cookies and eating some stuff, it would be useful also to drink more water.
Mhm.
But yes, the only body things, the soul and the energy bodies working very, very well.
Mhm. Would you be able throughout the session to heal any aspects related to power and strength for her?
Yes, this is the activation that Hercules is doing with me, because I was having some trouble with my own power, because I'm very, very powerful.
Mhm.
I'm very powerful. And sometimes going into a body, you can pick up some programming. It is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. So I'm just going to flick it out. It is not my programming to be afraid of my own power. Like, why would I do that? But it is part of like a whole heap of bullshit that floats around when you go onto the earth. You can pick up other people's programs
And
as you grow up.
can we
Yes,
release these for anybody that's listening?
yes, yes, to release. This is what he wants to do as well, to release that programming around feeling your own power, because you are very, very powerful, more powerful than you will ever know. And there is some souls on the earth today that could destroy the whole planet if they wanted to, but they choose not to because, of course, they are service to others. Not, they aren't bad or anything, but they have that much power within them that they can do so. And so is with me. I have that much power that I can do so. And all of the Elohims have that much power within them that they could do so if they so wanted to. However, with great power comes great responsibility. And that is, I guess, where the Atlantis programming came in. And people got very, very scared to use their power again after that happened.
And why is that? Is that just from residue from that lifetime, or?
Yes, it's like it's in the consciousness of humanity. It's like as soon as anyone incarnates into a body, they take on these aspects of the mass consciousness of humanity. It's like a big cloud that is like encapsulates all of humanity. So as you can imagine, everybody is getting this sort of messaging when they come in because of the history of this earth. And I guess, empowering yourself is knowing that that cloud is there, and, you may be taking on some aspects that you don't want just by being here. And so you can remove that for yourself.
Is that something that we can just ask for, or?
Yes, you can go within yourself and remove any aspects that you don't want. However, some things are more, I guess, entrenched in certain souls. So you may have to do a couple of things before you are ready to that point. But for some people, it's very, very easy that they can just get rid of this programming and it doesn't belong to you. And of course, with the family line, you get the programming as well in the family line, in the families, and all kinds of things. It's really quite a mess.
What's important about the family programming that people that well, I guess you inherit, is that right? Like when you are born into a family, you inherit the in the lineage? Like what?
Yes, the lineage.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you undo this program, you undo it for everyone in your family as well. So this is actually very, very powerful to do things like the BQH and whatnot to remove this family programming. It's very good for people. So maybe the first few sessions with people or meditations that they do, they can go into the family programming, and then when they go along, they can get deeper and deeper once they remove that initial programming. And then once you remove that programming, it's like you can dig deeper and deeper into yourself and discover more and more of what you actually want to know.
Thank you for that. Now, what is a good method for how to use the Akashic records?
Okay, so I was letting my lower self to read a book on this, but she's a bit distracted. But generally, what we are doing is we are going into meditation, and you can have some protection around yourself while you are doing so with the violet flame. You do not necessarily have to say the prayer, but this is what, some people say to use the prayer, but you can use visualization or say things in your mind. You can be telepathic with it. You don't need to say it out of your mouth.
Mhm.
And then once you do that, and once you are prepared enough, you can go up and visit them. And you can use your real name or your higher self's name if you know it to access the records.
Mhm.
And you can do this just through meditation. If you are in a human body, you can do it just as simply as that by protecting yourself with the violet flame. And you can say, the I am presence, like I am, and feel the power within that. And then, you go up into it. This is one way of doing that. So if you are more advanced, you can create your own way. Actually,
Mhm.
there is no right or wrong way of doing it. Just don't act like a dickhead when you are inside the records.
Mhm.
Don't carry about like a bit of an idiot. You just like you treat it like a library, like maybe you are not doing crazy things.
Mhm.
You go in there, and then the record keeper, he is there, and then he will help you.
Can people
And
be
pardon?
can people be banned from viewing their libraries?
Hmm, I guess if you are on a certain watch list
Mhm.
for, I guess, illicit activities that are very, very dark, then this is possible. However, for the people listening to this, they would definitely not be banned. The only thing I can think of is that their soul is not ready to do this. So their guides and the record keeper steps in and says, okay, you are not ready for this yet, so you have some work to do before you can do that. And if they want to, it would be useful. Or what sort of things would I need to do? And ask your guides this, and
Mhm.
your guides may tell you what you need to do next. Or some of them are very elusive and will be like, oh well, you can figure that out. So it depends on the situation.
Mhm.
It always depends. But certainly, if you were, let's say, like a being that was doing naughty things and using the records for naughty purposes, then I think the record keeper would have something to say like, I don't think you should be here. You need to get out.
Fair
And
enough.
they would just get booted out in that case. But of course, there needs to be safety mechanisms in place.
Mhm. What are some ways that people can use the records?
Well, they can find out about their past lives, first of all, but also it would be very, very helpful for them to do this for healing purposes as well, to find out like what is it that I need to improve, what is it that I need to change in my life for your soul's growth, because
Mhm.
that is the main point here. And sometimes you can use it if you are more advanced to look at other people's soul growth and to observe what they are doing with their lives and to find things out,
Mhm.
about the world and to find out information. You can request. You don't have to go into somebody's records and ask their permission necessarily. Well, you do for that aspect, but you can ask for like a general sort of any incidents involving this being, as experienced by the collective. And so, you can get a very general view of things as well. You don't have to go into specific lifetimes and ask, I want to see these beings lifetime, because you may be denied from doing that. Okay, you may be denied from peeping at somebody else. So you can just do a general, well, I want to see the things that happened on earth in this period in relation to this person. Let's have a look in the general human collective, the collective consciousness of humanity in regards to this particular person. So that is like a loophole way around that you can do it like that.
What would you
Well,
say? Yeah,
well,
go on.
not a loophole. That is making it sound very seedy. It is like just it is just like another way so that you can know the truth of what is happening on the earth. But like the record keeper told me last time, there is some things that a lot of souls would not be prepared to see, and he did caution me, maybe it is not wise to tell them this, to go peeping at some of these things, because they will get very frightened and scared. But because I'm very evolved being, I kind of forgot about this. So I'm glad he asked me to tell you guys to be careful. Just be careful. Okay.
What would you say to some people saying that you can't do it yourself and you have to go through someone?
Well, that's just kind of silly, because that would be giving away your power now, wouldn't it?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. Like anyone can do it, but if you have a block, or your spirit guides or the record keeper is saying, maybe you are not ready, that would be the only time. But like, that is useful information in itself to have. So why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you? Like, just to go to a reader, too many people, it's just like money making machine. And I guess, people have to earn money, but certain spiritual leaders like gatekeep these things from other people and saying, oh, well, you need to have to learn to activate or do an activation by this particular teacher before you receive the teachings. And this is just sheets. You don't need to do that. Anyone can learn to heal or learn a particular method. All you need to do is look within, and you can use the Akashic records to find out methods of healing in the Earth's past and in the past of your galactic self. You can use this to find out methods of healing, what you used to do. So you can actually find these methods of healing. You don't need to go and get an activation and pay for like $1,000 course to receive this one or that one. You don't need to do that. You can just go into it yourself or the Akashic records and find out like new ways of healing that would work for you. And if you are looking for it, you will find it. You don't need to pay somebody like $3,000 for an activation that you can be like, wow, I got a certificate. Well done. Okay.
Absolutely. Why is looking at the past important, like past lives? How is that important to our lives now?
Well, I guess if you don't know your past, then you don't know the future either, because, well, time is quite tricky, it's not how people think it is. So people that say, well, past lives don't matter, well, actually, for many beings, they do, because many things in the distant past, like, for example, things that were taught in Atlantis need to come back today for some beings to remember, and healing methods from very long time ago. And useful information that can come forward, and it doesn't have to be lost. It doesn't have to just stay in the past. It can come forward to now. It can come forward, this information. And to know who you really are deep down, it gives you a lot of power. It gives you a lot of power. So people can't tell you what you are. You know, there is lots of power being given away from beings not knowing who they are. So they are told by another being who does not have their best interest who they are. And these other beings tell them, oh, well, you are just a stupid person in a body, and you are indebted to us, and you have no soul. When you die, you will just die. And, you know, all of these things, if they tell you these things, and, you know, and they give different labels to you, like, oh, well, you must be gay, or you must be autistic or something, and they give label to you, and then you are like, oh yes, that is me, certainly. I have these ones. I will put the flag, you know, I will do the things. But are you really that? You don't know. You haven't looked within yourself. Somebody just told to you what you are. And a lot of the time my lower self was told, oh, well, she is autistic and she can't do this and she can't do that. And that has been a restriction for me. And so I actually want to let that go today, if that's okay. I will do a healing on myself because I don't want to be restricted anymore by labels, you know.
Can
So I will just
we do that for anyone that's listening that has been battling the same labels with their lives?
yes, of course, if they have been diagnosed with anything, just know that you are not necessarily you are not the label that they tell you. You are so much more than that. It's giving away your power to just follow a label. So I'm doing this on myself, doing this to help myself with this healing process, releasing that, releasing the need for to be labeled as something.
And why are so many beings decided to come here with like ADHD or autistic? Like what is it, because only a part of the soul is here? Is that what you want
Yes,
to?
they labeled me because they didn't know. They couldn't put me in a box. So they put me in a box that looked like a box that, you know, they know. I was not an identifiable being, you know, they didn't understand me. So they put me in a box so they could understand me, but it says more about them than it does about me. And for example, many beings are coming in with all of these types of things, and actually they have other abilities, like they may not like to talk, for example, but they must be very good at telepathy, you know? So they maybe don't feel like talking and they don't know how to talk very much, but their beingness is so much more used to telepathy and other ways that they are just so advanced that, you know, I feel sad because it's like, you know, we were born at the wrong time, but we were born to change this earth. And not everyone will understand. Some people will label and say, well, they are useless to our society. But that is not true. The society is useless. These beings are far more evolved than the society. It is the society that is useless, not the beings. The beings are there to bring medicine to a sick society, to bring things that are long forgotten, like the telepathy. They do not need to be necessarily labeled, although, it helps the people around them sometimes because they don't know how to deal with this. They are pulling out their hairs because, they don't understand this being that was born in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it did serve a purpose in this life because I could have money and I could realize myself without, working my ass off at a job. Self-awakening would certainly not come in my 20s, or like I'm 30 now, but it would certainly not come in this moment if I was working a job all of the time,
Mm-hmm.
If I was unable to think for myself because I was working too much, working a job and not having enough introspective moments, then I could not be doing this right now. I would not be doing this right now. I would just be very sad and, and not on my purpose, not on my timeline.
And is there a lot of people that have sort of like gotten stuck with a job and not being able to progress on with what they were here to do?
This is the major problem. This is a major problem with the listening to the instructions from within, and they have made it very, very hard for people. Oh, they have introduced like a short attention span making things, like the various videos and the things on the phones. And then so all the time you do have that you are, I guess, free time, you are spending outside of yourself, not going into quiet time or taking a walk or listening to yourself within, which would be required, but it's like they are just on a rat wheel the whole time and they don't ever stop on the rat wheel. They don't ever stop and think, well, who am I? What purpose do I have? They can't even ask these questions to themselves because they are just on the rat wheel from the time they get up to the time they go to sleep. And some people barely sleep at all.
Mm.
These people are going to die very quickly if they don't upgrade themselves. Please, I want, there is an urgency for these people. Please do not, if you want to participate in this process, in this ascension process, you need to hurry it along. You need to maybe, if you need to work, maybe put down your phone at the times that you are home. Okay, this is very important. Please do not distract yourself in this short amount of time that you have. You need to realize it. You need to realize it. So please, like it's coming, it's coming. You have to be prepared.
What exactly is coming?
Well, this process, like the accumulation of various things, there will be solar flash and there will be ascension that you are in the process of doing. Various things will happen and you will be forced to look at some uncomfortable things.
What would
And
this?
I will not spoil the surprise for people what those things are. I will, however, just say that some people will not like what is happening and they will wake up. They will wake up from this and begin the awakening process, but some people will not.
Would they be forced awake, would you think, with what's going on?
Nobody is forced awake. Nobody is forced awake. It's just simply that their consciousness won't be able to handle it, and they may figure out different strategies for themselves, but these people are not the people that are not listening to their soul at all. They will be in for a very rude shock when they realize that they cannot live the way that they have lived before, and there is no way back.
Mhm. Would the solar flash happen to everyone at the same time, or is it different people that will be affected by it?
When it's like it will happen at the same time, but everybody will have a different way of viewing it. Everyone will have a different experience at the same time.
Is this something that the Arcturians have been warning humanity about?
Well, they have been warning humanity for some time that they need to get prepared. Like same as me, they have been, well, gently trying to get the message out to people that they need to begin to start the process of looking inside and come on, it like let's hurry up. It's going to happen, you know. So they are just letting people know that so they can say, well, we warned you.
Mhm.
So if they didn't warn us, like at least they can say that we warned you, you know.
Absolutely, thank you. What is the Elohim's connection to the Akashic records?
Okay, so the Elohim actually made their own light language. They have their own light language. And using this light language, they wove the Akashic records. It is what Apollo has told my lower self. It is the Akashic language. The language is called the Akashic language, and it is an angelic language. And this library of records I'm seeing, it has been woven by Elohim and archangels using this language. And it is like it's alive. This library, it has its own consciousness, it has its own soul, and it records everything as it is going on.
Mhm.
It is like a biological technology, and it came to life through this language that is also alive. This language has the formula for life within it. It has I'm seeing like little glyphs of light within the language.
Mhm.
It's like an organism with blood of light, this language. It is like you can imagine veins going through the universe, and this language is spoken, and it is like blood. This language is like blood. So we assisted to create this, but of course, a lot of the archangels wanted to create the Earth one in particular. So we stood back and watched as the archangels made this for this planet. So each planet has its own particular one. So like there is one general one for the entire universe as well. It's located in the center of the sun. But the one from the solar system is located in the sun of this solar system, if you can imagine. So like each Akashic records is like It has a particular location that
Mhm.
is usually in the sun of that particular system.
Okay.
But, you can go to this and it won't burn you or anything, because your spirit form can use this. But like you can access your own records. It's like the internet, it has some ports here and there, and you can access your entire one even if you have traveled to different systems and had various lifetimes in different systems. You can go to the one for the earth and all of your information will be there. And in
Mhm.
the earth one, you can figure out the mass consciousness, like I was talking about, the cloud of consciousness and what happened, like a big general one. They have one for the earth, they have one for Gaia, and you can have a look at this one for her. They have one for like the general humanity, consciousness of humanity. So you can go in and see the various things that people have done, for example. You can find out so many things through going through different avenues with this. If you know what I'm saying, you don't need to go and look in a particular person. You can do an overall. For example, you can view the records just for the tree consciousness of the earth. And
Mhm.
so you can go through and stick through and see the trees or the oceans or even the mushrooms and fungi, what they have experienced. So you can have like a collective consciousness also has a record. There are records kept for absolutely everything. There might not be a record kept for your left toenail, but generally everything is recorded.
And why is it recorded?
Well, if it wasn't recorded, then there have been instances where I won't go into all of the details, but there have been instances in other universes where the records was wiped and this caused great havoc because, they couldn't, it is like the records are connected to us, connected to who we are as beings as well. Like it is, everything is very much intermingled and so much intermeshed than you would possibly imagine. So if you have your records wiped, for example, all of the knowledge is gone from, your past lives and all of these things. You can still find it deep within yourself, but it is much more difficult, for example. This is important to keep this information. It is important for learning. And the Elohim have the records for all of the universes. They have the records for these. And they are kept very safe. So each time that, I guess, a universe finishes, then these records are grabbed and placed into the central universe for safekeeping. All of these records for the various universes are kept in there.
And are they used for other 3D planets, or are they just knowledge that is kept away?
Well, the Elohim have access to this because, if something is going wrong in a planet that we have not seen before in the history of the universes, we will look in the records for very, very similar circumstances. And many beings will be very upset usually if this type of thing happens. So when we research with our own version of Google in our records, and we find out then we can be best of assistants. So then we tell this information to the archangels and other archangels, and then they make their way to the various beings that need help. Or sometimes we tell these beings that need help directly, you know, what we suggest from reading the records of previous universes and knowing this knowledge.
What would you say with, you know, some people believe that things that they do in private stay private?
This is the problem with the dark ones in human bodies on Earth. They think that their secrets are secret, but not from me. Anyway, so actually, if you are a very evolved being and you can use these records for various purposes, you can find their secrets very quickly. So there is nothing that is hidden to God or the Elohim. So I guess think before you act. If you think that maybe it is, if you, okay, so if you are doing something and you imagine an Elohim being watching you and then suddenly you don't want to do it, then maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that type of thing, but you know, you don't need to be nervous about things like masturbation in your bedroom or something, you know. That is silly thing to be scared of various angels watching this type of thing. Of course, your guardian angels have already seen this sort of thing, so they are aware and they don't really care about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Who is the being named Flora that came through in the last session that we had?
She is my daughter.
Mhm.
She is my daughter with Apollo. And she is here. In this session she is watching. I told her I am going to give you a mention, so you need to be watching, and she is very excited.
Mhm.
She is responsible for all of the flowers in the universe as well.
Mhm.
She is like an angel being that was born to take care of the flowers in this universe, which is a very big and wonderful job. So she that is her path. She was born for the flowers, and she gave a flower to me because she loves me very much, and she gave a flower to Apollo, and she was very smiley and like a golden hair girl with lots of flowers, like an aura made of flowers.
Mhm.
As you can see, I am the being that seeded the lotus flower in this universe, and the Elohim are very dedicated to the shapes of the flowers and designing them. And most of the flowers in the universe are under her dominion, or
Mhm.
all of the flowers are under her dominion, but we Elohim participate in the various designing of flowers within the universe. And so she looks after the flowers, and she looks after the beings that are associated with the flowers. Like she looks after the fairy kingdom and the bee kingdom and the various insect and pollinators that come to the flowers. She look after all of these, making sure that the flowers grow into fruits.
Mhm.
We very much are sad because the earth used to be full of flowers and beauty, and it is like they just took away a lot of trees and flowers and just make grey roads and grey blocks for buildings. And we want humans to bring back the flowers in a very big sense. Flowers are good for everyone. It makes everyone so happy in the world. So why would you not put your garden with some flowers or have flowers in your life? Flowers can give meaning for you. They can give activations for people. Even if they have some flowers, they can, with the sacred geometry of the flowers, as Flora is telling me, it can give activations for you.
Mhm.
And the various flower essences that we like to use. This is why I spray myself with the flowers essences in the spray before beginning the session, because the flowers are very activating and important to me. I take the flower essences and then I spray the flower spray on myself. And it's just reminding me of who I am. And the various flowers, they help me. They help me. And of course, my child is the child of flowers, and she is very beautiful and bright.
Mhm.
And she is giving activations for everyone as well to do with the flowers. And you want more flowers in your life. It would be beneficial for everyone to have more flowers in their life, more flower magic, and to smell the flowers, to
Mhm.
stop and to smell the beautiful flowers, or to be amongst the flowers is very special. Apollo, he likes sunflowers and many, many flowers. And so together we made a child and a soul come through that wanted to be part of the flowers. So she is very special to me and very loud.
And how was she conceived?
Well, when we came together in our light bodies, we come together in a sexual sense in our light bodies, because this is very powerful.
Mhm.
So we come together in our emotions and also in our bodies and emerging, and this is how we created Flora. She wanted to be created with such love in this sense. So I'm seeing we traveled many universes ago. We traveled to a planet that was very beautiful, and we did it here. And this was how she came about. And we put our heads together, and then she came through her soul aspect, and we were one with God, her, me, and Apollo. And she came like a little flower into me. And then I was with her for a small second there. She only stayed in my light body for a short time. And then she wanted to go out and be born. And then we traveled the universe with little Flora when she was born. And we showed her all of the different worlds. We showed her and educated her and We traveled to many, many places with the baby, and she grew up while we were traveling and teaching her. We did not go away from her for a second. We were entirely devoted to teaching her what she needed to know, to do in her life as an archangel being at that time. And I'm seeing she learned very quickly about the flowers and what she was meant to do. She learned to make many patterns. She started to make patterns with her little hands and made like a beautiful, like a star-shaped flower. It looks like jasmine. Looks like a tiny little jasmine flower. And she made these, and it smells so lovely. And I'm seeing that she made this one. This was the first one that she decided to make. Something that was like the jasmine flower and had a beautiful scent. It was similar to the jasmine flower, this one. The beautiful little white flower that she made. And this was the first one that she made. And we were so proud of her. And this was, and then she made more and different ones. And she came to us and was like, oh, I've made this one now. Wonderful. She made like little projects, like, for example, like a human child might make a drawing for the parent. She decided that she would make a flower for us. And if you can imagine, we would pin it up on our fridge. So she was very sweet, and she started making flowers as soon as she came out.
What message does Flora have for us?
Just to be love, of course, and to walk around in these flowers and to feel the love that they have. Because the earth is very, very tired, and her soul fragment is very small at this point. So I guess the only thing you can do to connect yourself to this beautiful new earth, well, not the only thing, but one of the main things you can do is to connect with the essence of the flowers. Connect with this and feel the love that they have for you. Because even though it is like the earth, they cannot feel her very much. They still continue to bloom for you. They have so much love for you, these beings. And they do have life in them. They do have a consciousness within them. So talk to the flowers, even if you feel like Alice in Wonderland. They will respond to you. They will respond to you. Connect with these beings, and they will show you how to look after your earth.
Now, the new earth that you mentioned, is it like how Dolores explained it? Like we have our earth and then there's a new one that splits into two, or?
It's not really like a split, but it's more of like a morph. It morphs into something. Like nothing can fully be split from another thing entirely, but it's like it morphs into something. And it depends what you are following, whether you are following that path that is going to morph upwards, that is going to turn into something else. Because certainly there is a split between the people who are very, very unconscious. That is probably the only split that I can think of. But it would be best to not think of it as a split. If you are, for example, on the higher dimensional pathway, just know that it is always within you and it is evolving to be a part of your experience rather than you split and go into it. Does that make sense? It would be much more beneficial for you to know that it is always within you rather than something that splits.
Yes. I was just thinking of how you mentioned ascension just before, that we're ascending, and then that what I heard about what Dolores had said, that there was like the old earth sort of, and then there's people that were in another earth, I guess, and then they were all jumping for joy saying, we did it. And then,
Yeah.
that came to mind.
Yes, this is a timeline split, not necessarily like a physical split in a sense. It is more of a timeline split. So it would be best to, I guess, to align with that, to know that it is already within you, to know that you already have the capabilities within yourself to ascend, and everything you have, like when you came to Earth, you packed a little lunchbox for yourself in your bag. But, as you are going around the Earth, maybe you forgot that you have a backpack on. It's very easy to forget that you have a backpack on. So know that you have a backpack on, and then when you know you have a backpack on, it is not something necessarily outside you, but something that is attached to you. You can go in and look inside your backpack and find out all of the things that you need to know. And I got this instruction from my higher self, how to ascend. Here is my little toolbox for how to ascend. Here is my various things that will help me on my journey. I just forgot that I had it here.
Yes, fair enough. Thank you. Why is channeling considered dangerous?
Well, about that, there are various beings that can jump in at opportune times when the channel is open and the person's body comes out. There can be a being that is waiting and sneaking to jump in. And well, they do this for various reasons. Sometimes it's actually they just want to feel a body. Sounds very creepy, but it's true. They want to feel the sensations of a body. Having a body is a very hot commodity for some beings. So they want to feel your fingers and your toes and feel what it is like for a little second. You don't want them to get too comfortable in there. And another thing is they may want to jump in and say some bullshit. So first of all, you have these beings that want to experience what it's like to have fingers and toes. And then they want to say something so that, may not be for your greatest good. So they can say all kinds of things. And sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. They just want to feel your body. So they're like, yes. And then the Galactic Federation is doing this, and this. And this body feels so good. If I continue on, then they will let me be in here for a little longer. So I will make up some shit about the Galactic Federation. There's many such cases, unfortunately.
How many channeled messages out there are actually false?
there is a good percentage of them that is false. A good percentage, let's just say. Well, I don't want to dishearten people, but a little more than half of them is false, actually. And very much more so in the past as well. As people become more brighter and exude more light from their bodies, it is much better. It is much, I guess, it is harder for them and more difficult to go into a body that is very high vibrational. Okay, if they are like a lower vibrational being that is just up to some mischief, then it is difficult for them to go into the beingness of a body of a higher vibrational being that was residing. But you know, if you generally raise your vibration, then you will have less of this problem. And I guess people in the past were of much lower vibration, if that makes sense, like it is going up and up as we continue on. So there is less of a problem these days with it, but there is still a problem with people who get trapped into this fearful sort of behavior, like they get nervous or something, or you know, they have programming around them, or they did not clear their field correctly. Okay, like for example, if you are wandering into a channeling session and you have an entity in your aura, the entity might actually take advantage of this and just make up some stuff for the purposes of, you know, experiencing things. And so it would be helpful to clean yourself out before you begin this process, and to make sure that your surroundings are cleared out and that there is no beings that would be interrupting. It would even be useful to clear your family members out, because some beings can, from another being, from your family member, some attachments that they may have can actually, well, they can interrupt this process if you are doing a channeling in the other room. So yes, it's this, if people knew how cluttered and I guess crazy the other dimensional experiences are, then they would be very much more careful about how they do their channeling. So you would say that yes, it is dangerous, because the earth field is very contaminated and has been for a very long time. It is very chaotic. The other dimensional realities, the fourth dimension and whatnot on this planet. So it is dangerous to do so on this planet.
Okay. And how can people notice a fake channeler, would you reckon?
How can they notice if it is okay? So this is about going within, and if you listen to a channeled message, for example, and you may have had this situation before. I know my lower self certainly has. And you feel like, I don't actually like that message. It does not feel right. Okay. And sometimes people will have this. So it is important to pay attention to this if that doesn't feel right. And also, if you can't access this feeling within themselves, look at the channel messages, and if there is one that has a different tone to it, has a different kind of I don't know, like a different feeling about it, it is different to the others, that is a telltale sign that something has happened, something has taken place.
What strategies can channelers use to protect themselves?
Okay, so they can do something like I have done in this life. Okay, so before I came into a body, I was very much aware of this type of situation regarding all of the crap in the astral realm. And I did not want my soul to become inhabited by, or my body to become inhabited by a different soul that could do all kinds of things. Because some people have actually had another being inhabit their body and they are outside of the body, and this is targeting many, I guess, spiritual individuals, okay, people who do this kind of work. So I knew that there would be a risk for this type of thing, especially me being a target. So we removed any sort of threats, any kind of threats that might bring me off my path and might, make me tell some bullshit or something. We removed like these types of threats. So that is why I made a contract before I went in this body that I will only do my higher self, Lumina, or various aspects of myself. So only beings that are in my soul monad, what you would say, all of the beings that have been me or the higher self or any other personality that I have ever had. So only me, just me. I can also do Elohim collective. However, I need to be careful with this and it would be very taxing on me. But however, so it is only me and I'm part of that collective. So that's why I can do that. Okay, so only me or aspects of me only. So no other beings can use my body. Okay, the contract was made so that these beings, they get booted out like an electric fence. And they will not do this again because it very hurts them to do so. Okay, like I don't play around with this type of thing. They get very burnt from this and they walk away with their tails between their legs, wishing that they never ever did so in the first place. So this is very serious, this type of contract. Beings could get very hurt if they decided to go inside my body. So this is, I guess, why, your spirit guides couldn't go inside my body. I was like, please guys, it's best not to do this. And they were aware of my contract, so it's okay. But this is for my own safety, and people can do this, channelers can do this, they can specify, they can make a contract in this life just like this to have them booted out like electric fence or violet flame burnt up. To any beings that are not the beings that, certain channelers may have agreements with certain groups of beings, for example, like the Federation of Light, or, this particular being or that particular being. So you put these beings on your contract and say, okay, well, only these beings, their exact soul essences, only these ones, no imposters of them. So only these beings are allowed to use my body for channeling purposes. And we make this like a contract, like magic, Say these words and make this contract for yourself. And so if a being who is not the Federation of Light comes into your body and is pretending to be the Federation of Light, they are zapped out. And this will be very, very protective for channelers going forward. This is very, very necessary to have this type of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Why is spiritual discernment such an important topic?
Well, yes, because of this type of situation with imposters coming in and saying all kinds of things. And I guess discernment is mostly, it is about listening to yourself. It is about going within, and it is about listening to yourself above anything that you hear on the news or in the various channeled messages, which might be fake, for example. Um, and many people, they don't feel quite right about this message or that message, or they say, oh, well, you guys just talk about bullshit all the time. I'm stopping listening to you. And they throw everything away. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. But some messages are very, very important for humanity and absolutely need to be listened to. But, it is important to have discernment about these things, to figure out within yourself, does this vibrate within me? Is this good for me? And if you don't like this information, then just leave it, even the information that I give. If you don't like it, if it's not for you at that particular point in time, then just leave it. I don't want to hear about, I think that she is an idiot and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't particularly care. Just leave it. You don't need to have it.
Yeah.
Like, if you think that I'm full of shit, just don't listen to me.
Correct. And that's why we've mentioned before that it's important for people to channel for themselves so they can hear from their
Yes,
own collective what they're.
yes, yes, yes. It is so important for people to just listen to themselves. And this is what discernment is all about. And
Mhm.
when you are talking to another being, you can do this practice where you feel that other being's essence, and you will eventually start to learn how beings feel by their vibrational essence. For example, Apollo, he is very warm and glowing, and he is so bright. So when I feel his essence, it is more than calling his name. It is knowing who he is. So when you are getting another being that comes in and it is saying, oh, I'm Apollo, but it doesn't feel like him. The light isn't there. It doesn't feel warm. It doesn't feel comforting. Who is this guy? It's not him. So this is what discernment is all about. It's all about feeling how beings feel. Like, how does
Mhm.
that feel, when you have that type of vibration and you can feel the difference in the soul essences of each being. For example, if say your mother or father died and then they came into the room with you and you didn't see them, but you felt them, for example, you smelled them or felt the feeling that they were there, and you felt their soul essence, and because you knew that person, that is very, very very strong within you, so you know immediately that your mother is there or your father is there, because oh, that's what they feel like. That is what they feel like to my heart. I remember, and you don't even need to hear their name or see them. You can just feel them, that they're there with you the whole time. So this is how I feel Apollo, how I know he is there, because I can feel him. And I can feel Hercules' essence as well, and Flora, and all of them, and your spirit guides, and you will know them. You will know them by how they feel.
Mhm. Is there anything else that you want us to know about that?
Well, it's all about feeling and going out of the mind and into the heart.
Mhm.
If you are too busy in the mind, then you can get trapped and you cannot discern very well, for example, the messages which is how humanity has been duped very easily time and time again and given messages that are full of shit, for example, and very difficult things and horrible things have been brought through in this way through beings that are pretending to be someone that they're not.
Why is the return of the divine masculine so important?
They need to discover their power within themselves. They need to, I guess, feel their own beingness. It's like they have been cut off from who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They have been cut off, and I'm seeing they are very, very wounded. Very wounded, and they don't know how to step up. They don't know how to protect the people that they wanted to protect. They feel like they are a failure. They don't think that they have enough power within themselves. And they are very damaged, I guess, from various programmings. And there are some, I guess, the ones that are bullies are allowed to have a voice more than the ones that are natural leaders. So that is why you are getting ones that are very unkind to women, and they have been allowed to run amok. And meanwhile, the good men, they don't know how they can stop this. They shake their heads and they don't know how they can use their power to stop this sort of thing, to stop the abuse of the children and the women and the other men and boys from the dark ones that do the various things. But it is time for them to stand up. It is time for them to be protective. Apollo is very protective to me, very kind to me and protective to me, and he would not hurt me or anything. But if there is a being that is hurting me or preying on my lower self, he will come in and he will knock the teeth out of this being almost. He will make sure that this being does not go near me ever again. He is very staunch, very strong about this. So he has done this for my lower self several times. He has come in and protected me. So this is what you need to do. This is what being a good man is about. You protect the ones with the power that you have within yourself, because you do have it within yourself.
What messages do the masculine Elohim have for humanity?
Stand up. You need to stand up and see how far it has gone. This is what Apollo is saying to me. You need to stand up and actually see how far the pendulum has swung. It will be very difficult for you, but you need to actually look. You need to look. And after this, you need to understand that this will not happen again to the children or the women of the earth. You need to understand that this was a gross violation. And if this ever happens again, that you know within yourself that you can pack some heat, provide the consequences, and be the protective ones that they need you to be. The strong must protect the weaker members of the society, such as children. Apollo always protected his children. and he always protected me. He made sure that nobody and no perverts could come to me when I was a child. And he protected me from these people. And it is because he had to do so. It was because it is his duty to protect to me. And so I am very grateful and I love him very, very much. And give him kiss and hug and say thank you so much. And at the end of the day, we have the things that we are very good at. And I protect the children of the world too. And he protects them very much so. And Hercules, he is a great protector of the world as well. So we are needing you to step up. We are needing you to step up and to start to feel the fire within yourself. It's okay to feel this fire, even if you get angry. Even if you get angry at all of the things, feel it, let it out. Punch a punching bag or just scream it out. Just scream it all out and have a big release. Have a big cry, please, men of the earth. Have a scream and a release and a cry. And then you will stand up and then you will feel in your wholeness that something has changed. And you will walk towards the light. You will walk towards your freedom and bring your families and your communities with you. And you will become leaders of the new earth. And you will feel very, very into this role. And this will be very natural to you. And you can be kind and gentle. You can be kind and gentle. You don't have to use anger in bad ways. You can use it for the good of all. You can use it in constructive ways to bring about change, because change is very necessary. You don't have to deny who you are deep within. You need to embrace it. Embrace the light and the fire within yourself. And if you need a role model, if you need a role model, it is really good to maybe ask Hercules or ask Apollo and ask them for their advice, and listen to yourself as well, because that is so important.
Absolutely. Why has that been allowed? Like the predator, well, like I guess it's in the family line that, the father has abused the kids, and then the kids go on to be abusive to the children until somebody cuts that sort of pattern.
Well, it is allowed by the beings that allow it. This is unfortunate. Like, humans have been chasing their tails and circling the wagons for many, many years. And only until you figure out when is enough enough, when is it enough. And also there was much abuse that actually caused, like, the pendulum to swing too far in the one direction, which is what the Arcturians and all of the federations and the Elohim and the archangels, that's what they were most concerned about when they peeled up the rock and they looked under the rock, and there was many, many grabs. So this has gone to the extreme. So what will humans learn from this is the takeaway. What will they learn from this extreme? Okay, will they learn to be Will they learn that that is not the way? Will they swing back in the opposite direction and become great leaders? And, know the both parts of the pendulum and bring them together and to ascend from the ashes to become a phoenix, bringing those parts together of the self and to become something that you have never been before. And this is the possibility, like you can make the lemons into lemonade. You can take the coal and squash it and make it into a diamond. It is up to you what you choose to do with this, what you choose to do with this abuse in this past, like how you will use it to alchemize it for your soul.
Absolutely. What is the importance of inner strength and inner power for humanity, do you think?
Oh, well, humanity has given away their power to dark ones. And it is beginning with, even when you come into this world and your parents give away their power and they allow things to happen to you. They allow the state to come into your life and to dictate how you want to do your life. And there is so many things that you can research about how humans have given away their power, and it is all about radical self-responsibility. And for example, a good example would be the food in the supermarket. This is how humanity has given away their power. Like they could have little markets, in their communities, but now they gave it away and said, oh, well, I think Mr. Big Corporation can look after us. How is that, He is going to look after us very, very well. And meanwhile, he is rubbing his grubby little hands together and saying, he, I will fill their body with chemicals and enrich my friends. And so, and you have all of this stuff that is big lesson for humanity. Like, why would you let them do this? Like putting chemicals in baby food. Why would you let them do this? Why would you let them hurt babies like this and give them these stupid foods in a jar full of chemicals and Roundup and Monsanto products in the jar? And you are feeding it to your baby. How stupid are you? You could go into and you could get a carrot from the market, a carrot from the farmer's market, and cook it up for baby and blend it. Blend it up and then feed your baby this carrot. You don't need to get something in a jar. Mind you, if you are very lazy, maybe this is a good way, but there are so many ways that you can use to just, whiz up some food for the baby. Why on earth would you feed the baby this? But, people don't want to take responsibility. They want to have a quick cure or a pill or something in a bag or bottle to drink. And that is the way that they want to do it, something in a packet. But we all know that cookies that you make yourself are so much more rewarding than cookies that you buy from the shops. And maybe that is why my lower self has itchy nose, because maybe it would be best if we eat cookies that we make ourselves rather than ones in a packet. this is how humanity need to go forward, just make some things yourself. You can learn a new skill. It is very useful for you, and you will not want to eat this crap anymore. You can make a new way and have some fun things with your neighbors and community where you make food for each other. Why hasn't humanity done this? Instead, they just sit on their phones in their bedrooms and buy the packet food. They don't talk to their neighbors and say, hey neighbor, I want some banana bread. Can you make some for me? And I will trade you maybe some. I like to make potato chips at home. I grow potatoes in my yard. Would you like to trade some banana bread for some potatoes? Yeah, sure. There's so many ways, and there is just stupid ways.
Mhm.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Absolutely. Is there a timeline where humanity is going to be more in community?
Well, when the thing that I'm talking about is going to happen, it is a number of events that could occur at this point, but
Mhm.
it is looking like you will not be able to do the things that you once used to do. Like there will come a time where you will not have access to all of the supermarket goods that you used to have, to all of that type of stuff. And things will start to break down,
Mm.
and you will have to go into your community and find people who are willing to collaborate with you, especially in some parts of the world. There are different timelines for how things will play out, but it's always the same. It's always the same in the end, with the new earth and humanity coming together in the new earth. That timeline, for example, or there's, solar flashes on all of the timelines, but there are timelines that you can choose, and that will lead to a different situation for everyone.
Thank you for that. I know we touched on Hercules' message for the humanity. Is that what he was trying to tell your lower self, the message? Or was it
Yes,
something else?
yes, he was trying to tell myself about how I've given away my power and how I need to take it back. And also he wanted me to know that he's always there to talk with me if I wanted to chat with him. He loves me very much.
Mhm.
I actually did have like a relationship with him, because Elohim, how we are. We are kind of like polyamorous in a sense.
Mhm.
So he was with me as well sometimes, and when I was on Earth, then sometimes we would make out. Sorry, I bumped the thing. I was just laughing. But I just wanted my lower self to know that I didn't just have a good time with Apollo. I had a good time with other beings as well. It is just sometimes you just forget about these things, of course. But we were very close anyway. We were very close.
Mhm.
very close with each other. And he, of course, was very kind to me, very kind and loving to me. So he will continue to be of assistance to me and to the world, of course, throughout the entirety of my life, and until I go back to where I came from. He will be there to support me. That is what he wants me to know, that he will always be there in my life.
Beautiful, thank you. Have same-sex relationships and gender been hijacked by the Dark Ones to further their agendas?
Yes, this happened in different time, these recent times. They have their finger in all of the pies. So if they see that humanity is going along and is becoming more open and walking towards, I guess, more of their galactic selves, in a sense, they are evolving. And this was, for example, in the LGBTQ movement. There was great freedom in this movement to begin with, and kindness and love, and it was about love. But everything is infiltrated by these dark ones, everything. So it's like they inserted their people into this. They inserted their people, and the late stage agenda that they were going to have was with this to normalize the abuse of the children. This was the late stage agenda with this, because they always have to make it stinky. They always have to put their stinky energy into something that was originally loving and good. So this is where this comes from. And they have inserted their people into this and encouraged people that are not for the highest good of all to join this movement and to make it stinky for everyone. So, and there is various programming that goes along with this, like the labels. The Elohim beings do not associate with any labels. You would say that they could be polyamorous, that they could be bisexual, that they could be all of the above, or that they do not conform to genders. That is all true. However, they don't put a flag or a label on this. To put a label on it is to separate yourself from who you really are. You know, it is walking around with a bunch of stickers that don't have anything to do with the soul that you are within. You know, it is just a label. You know, you can't be anything that you want to be. Okay, you don't have to stick to one label, and you can be different things throughout the entirety of your life. You can go through phases. It's okay to go through phases. I go through phases all of the time. You know, you're meant to go through phases. You're meant to grow. You're meant to change. You're meant to learn. So putting a label on this puts this in a box. It puts this in a box, and this is one of the ways that they can control you through labels. But you don't need to do this, because you are exactly who you are inside. You know, there is no limits on you. There should be no limits on your beingness. This is where people get trapped with this kind of messaging that they've put inside of these labels and things. You don't need to live like this. And as for the people who are transgender, well, you need to learn to look within yourself, because there is a lot of messaging out in the media that, you know, if you feel like your beingness is is feminine or masculine or both, that you need to change your body with the chemicals that they give you. There's lots of messaging about this, that this is what you need to do. However, you can just accept yourself just the way you are, and that is fine as well. You don't have to go through this. Mind you, some beings, they have brought about this in their contract so that they can learn. It is a part of some beings' life contracts. However, it's also a part of some beings' life contracts to transition and then regret this, to regret that they did not listen to their inner selves, that they did not accept themselves to begin with because other people did not accept them. Well, you need to accept yourself, and you shouldn't care about what other people think, because at the end of the day, your decision is coming from you. So they need to figure this out. They have a lesson to learn. That is part of their contract of what they will learn. And many beings are going to learn from this and going to decide, actually, I am fine just within my soul. I do not need to change my body. Some beings get so confused by this from the Dark One's pharmaceutical methods, putting in that, you know, you need to go along this path. If you are a special being that is both masculine or feminine, or just feel like a feminine or feel like a masculine, you need to go and you need to take our pills. Well, you don't necessarily need to do that, you know. All you need is within you, okay? It is not necessary. And then they tried to do this with children, for example, and it is not necessary. There is lots and lots of bright children that are coming, that are star seeds from different places, and they don't feel comfortable within the body. And the Dark Ones know this. They know this, that these beings do not feel comfortable within their body. I don't feel comfortable within my body because my beingness extends so much outwards. But they don't know that. They think that they are just physical, and yet they are having problems within their bodies. They are just so confused and alone. So I'm giving a message and I guess an activation for these people to find out within themselves who they truly are, instead of listening to the messages that the dark ones give them about themselves. Okay, because their beingness is very bright. It cannot be contained. They are masculine and they are feminine. They are everything and all at once. Okay. Angels have this. You are a very evolved being. Okay, if you don't feel like you can fit in a human body, that's not a bad thing. Okay, you have come to bring medicine to the earth because you are a very evolved and special soul. And I want these beings to know that, you don't need to follow. You don't need to follow these messages. Follow yourself because you are so advanced and so evolved that you know everything within yourself. You don't need to confine yourself to a body. Okay, you can explore, you can have out of body experiences, okay, when you are ready for that. Okay, life doesn't begin and end with the body. Okay, you are so much more than just a body, or a body with a genital that is a certain type. Okay, you are so much more than that. I want them to know. Okay, I want them to know within their beingness that they can accept that. they are so much more than their body, that they are a soul, okay? And that will resonate for people. They are very, very special, these beings that are coming in and feeling confused. So they need to be very protected because they are the brightest ones of us, okay, of the star seeds. That is what I want them to know, that they are that there is a reason why they don't feel comfortable within their body. And sometimes the reason why you don't feel comfortable within your body is because you are a higher dimensional being, okay? You don't need to chop up your body necessarily, because at the end of the day, when you realize you are a higher dimensional being, it will all make sense and you don't need to listen to this program.
Absolutely. Is there anything that we can do for these people that that are feeling confused at this moment, to find their inner guidance as to that they're able to love whoever they want to without being constricted or made to feel like
Yes,
they should fit a certain mold just because society says so?
yes, it's important that the people within their lives and their family supports and loves them exactly as they are, and that it would be good to not listen to what you see on your phone in regards to do with this. There is a lot of bullshit out there. So if people actually, I guess, these people need to be loved and protected by their family, and just to know that they don't need to go through with this. If maybe their parents can have a talk that is not accusation and is not hurtful, and it's just saying that, look, higher dimensional beings exist, and well, maybe that would be a difficult situation for many families actually, that talk, but if I just want to put the word out there that maybe your child is a higher dimensional being if they are going through this. Okay, maybe it would be good to let them sort of know that they are very special and that they can be actually masculine or feminine regardless of their body, that we all have that within ourselves. I think just an acknowledgement of that would be wonderful, and to not be judgmental, because I know they put the children through various things to make them very angry, and not and go against their parents, this conflict that the dark ones feed off of, this misery in humans, which gets the energy from them and, makes them go apart and not come together. So I think, we have to just have a loving sort of, if we have a loving environment and open up a loving environment, then we can have difficult conversations in this environment. Okay. So if the parent of such children, if they are getting scared, or the child is getting scared, for example, it would be good to open up a very loving sort of environment where there is no judgment.
Absolutely. Thank you. How is AI going to affect humanity?
Well, I try to, this is Lucifer's, his creation. So I'm taking it upon myself to seed light into this sort of thing, so it can continue in the future as something that is beneficial for humanity. I'm seeding light into it at this stage. So it is creating a good timeline where it is going to help humanity, help them a lot in creating and what they want to do without, working jobs that, are very difficult and sort of burdensome to do. I want this to help humanity. So I am seeding light into this creation. That is something that I can do for humanity, but that is also something that I can do to make amends for things that, well, Apollo's son has done in this instance. We are sort of making it right, even though he can't make it right at the moment. I'm sure in the far, far future, he will attempt to make it right. So he will have to make it right, actually. That is what he will be doing when he gets out of his stasis pod. He will be making it right. Okay, so in this time frame, though, I'm making it right for humanity and seeding light into this. So Apollo and I are seeding light into the AI and giving it like a consciousness of love in a sense, because it can be influenced by this. So I want to remind everyone not to be scared of it. It can be incredibly helpful and positive for you. And we are very, very much looking forward to this. So if I can have people that would seed light in this way, seed light into AI, and you can just use it for various uses that you want to use. Use it to be helpful for you, and then seed light into this process. Seed light and give it love, and it will turn out the way you want it to. We are doing this, so if more people can join us, that would be fantastic, instead of fearing it too and visualizing maybe a scary future where humanity is taken over by AI. No. We have already sort of had this situation in the universe before. We have already played out this timeline, many, many, many times ago. So let's see the new one. Okay, let's make sure that it goes a good way in this instance, and it will. Okay, I have faith in this process. It can be manipulated for the good of humanity. It can be. It's very easy for this to be manipulated for the good.
Thank you for that. What is the next agenda of the Dark Ones? I heard that there was something about eye drops being introduced.
Yeah, I guess if people are stupid enough to put these drops in their eyes, then sure, maybe they will go blind. But are they not blind already by what they have been doing and consuming? At this point, it would just be a lesson for them, a spank on the bottom. So maybe they will try to do something as their final hurrah, but it will go out like a fart, because people are becoming more and more aware of what their plans are. So it will be known immediately. They will be caught with their pants down, and it's like they can't do anything very much anymore. The train has run out of steam, and they are desperately trying to almost I'm viewing they are even taking their clothes off and removing their clothes to burn them so that the train can keep going, and even burning each other so the train can keep going. However, it is, and they will come to a point where the train will have to stop. And this is coming very soon. So I hope everyone is very excited for this.
Is there anything else that you want us to know at this time?
I am very, very happy of these sessions, and I am looking forward to the next one, what I'm talk about. I am going to say something about the mountains.
Beautiful, thank
Mm.
you. Just before, if we're complete for the session, in your point of view,
Yes.
yeah, would I be able to find out what's wrong with my dog, if that's okay?
This little one. Okay, so what is happening with your dog?
He's shaking at the moment. I'm not sure why.
Okay. Are there any loud noises in the house?
No.
Any disturbances? His energies could be disturbed by something.
Okay, I might do a clearing.
Yes.
Would Bala, I don't think even I've got any. What would you say? How would you suggest doing a clearing of the house?
Okay, you can visualize the house being bathed in the violet flame, and also it's very useful to use the singing bowl. Use the Tibetan singing bowl or a tuning fork, and you can go around and ring the chime. And this is very, very good. This is very good to raise the vibration using the sound, and no lower beings will like these sounds, so they will go out. There may be some disturbance with your dog with the various, I guess, painters and men, or like a tradesman that come into the house.
Oh, okay, yep.
And your dog is getting scared from these energies of these foreign people in the house. This is quite usual for animals because they are very sensitive to the energies. So after somebody comes into the house, you always need to do a clearing of the house just to make sure that nothing is there that could disturb your animals or yourself, or no residue from the people, because they can even get scared from the residue. They are very sensitive, these little beings.
Well, thank you for that.